some of us, have a tendency to put others before ourselves, because nobody should be judged on their yarn stash. A lot of knitters and crocheters want to shit on each other's stashes. Welcome. Today is day 4 of getting my craft room, which was a crap room, under control and hopefully making it usable. If you are just finding this video now, I highly recommend go ahead, hit that little bookmark to save this to watch for later, and go ahead and grab the playlist. I'll make sure it's down here, and then you can start from the very beginning and see the progression of my crap room turning into an actual craft room. Not that it's actually super totally usable just yet, but I think yesterday was a lot of progress, a lot of breakthrough, and I don't know. I guess we will see where I end up today, if anything at all. And yeah, that's all. Stitch is gonna stitch, we don't miss a loop. Pull that thread tight, join the crochet troop. Generally speaking, right now, I don't have much of a plan. So I don't know. I'm still feeling kind of just all here. Also, it doesn't help that I, was editing yesterday's video and seeing all the feels and feeling all the feels all over again, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. I think it's going to be helpful to process everything. But this table here with the lamps on it, I think I'm going to move right in this corner, because then that will be over the register for the heat and air conditioning, which sounds counterintuitive, but I wanted to make groupings of ideas of yarn, or at least piles of yarn, and I didn't want to pile yarn over the register, and at least the table being relatively simple won't block the heat or anything too terribly much. So that's really the main plan. The other thing is the Chipotle catering boxes right next to that. I'm going to pull those out and only use them if I need to for like blanket yarn. So I'll probably pull those over into another room. And then I don't know after that. If I'm being perfectly honest, probably try to corral yarn from other areas of the house into here if I can make okay-ish piles and not have too much of a crap-a-lanch. And yeah, there will probably be a crap-a-lanch at some point, and we'll deal with it. I know there's more stuff besides yarn under here. I just couldn't fully get to it. Also, if I get the yarn out from the other room, it'd be nice to go ahead and put that stuff in there. I'm thinking the plant stand I might pull out just so it's not in the way, but then figure out where it's going to live later on. And other than that, that's about it. And you know what? Is there an extra? I thought I had an extra plastic bag or something yesterday. Maybe I already tossed it, but I think having something for trash is probably going to be a good idea. So that's about it. The only thing I will say is around lunchtime, there was a bit of a clearing. So I did go ahead and run the seeds out. They were sitting on this table. Oops. I can't point right over there. So I already ran those out to the garage, but that is it. I also feel like this is the part where things are going to get messy, especially in other areas of the house, before it gets better. And boy, isn't that the truth when you're doing that kind of like inside work as well? Things are going to get messy before they get better, but it will be worth it. I promise. One thing you might notice is that I am wearing my Crochet Water Lily top by Olga Poltava, and this might seem very out of place for doing a, craft room makeover and cleaning up stuff and decluttering and all of that sort of stuff. And mostly you are right, although I do think the vast majority of all the not dirty, but like sweat work, kicking up dust, all of that was probably done yesterday. Also, I do really like this top. It wears well, it washes well. So I think I woke up today just feeling different. I felt like I wanted to get up and get dressed into something I enjoy. And I didn't do my makeup because I actually think I'm having a reasonably decent skin day, and sometimes putting makeup on top of that makes it worse in the coming days. So I was just going to leave well enough alone. I even put on like a little bit of perfume. This is like my super girliest one. Obviously, it's super tiny, a little sample of it because I don't want to spend money on Gucci stuff, really like the big ones. And also, I don't wear perfume a ton, and this is just enough. This is like my super girliest one. And I think that's really interesting. If anyone is like kind of concerned about like, well, if this is your week off from work and you're on PTO, are you only working on the craft room transformation? And no, I'm not. So I just wanted to show you a little bit of what I started working on Saturday. I might have even started the cuff Friday night a little bit. And so this is the second sock of the zigzagular. The other one is blocking currently right now. I probably could have gone and grabbed it, but oh well. So I might have started the cuff Friday night. I don't remember. And you can see that's how much I did. We'll say Friday, Saturday. This was Sunday's and this was yesterday's. And then I went ahead and put this little progress keeper stitch marker on there because clearly I need to work on believing in myself. And also this progress keeper stitch marker is from a really good longtime friend. So I wanted to pop that on there to show progress for where I'm at. And also, if you're not sure like why people do progress keepers, if you ever feel like you're crocheting or knitting into the black hole, that's what to me helps visually go, okay, no, this thing is growing. It just doesn't feel like it sometimes. So that's why I tend to use those a lot, especially on something like socks and blankets. So that's kind of been a little background of other stuff going on this week. One thing I felt like in particular for a trend that I noticed throughout the week is that most days I really didn't feel like doing much, if at all. And that's largely why I've been putting off doing that room, because I kept avoiding feeling all of the negative feelings that had started to kind of bubble up on Saturday. Oh, I don't know that I really, day 2 was a whole lot. And then certainly by day 3, it was just like, you know, the floodgates of emotion had opened up. And I think that's why that room got so neglected, because it was easy to just close and avoid, except that really our bodies and our subconscious knows it's there and that we're avoiding it and that we still feel crappy. And then it's the added guilt and extra other crappiness of like, just take care of it and take care of myself, take care of my stuff, take care of this room. And like day 4 in particular was just harder because yes, I let out a lot of emotion on day 3, but then it was like always kind of here. Like I felt like as I was working, it was still right below the surface. And all I could do was just keep chipping away and just do one more little thing but if I just do this one thing and push through. And really, isn't that just so indicative of life that no matter what is going on, you still have to push through, even if bad things are going on and we feel like crap, and you still have to show up and do things that you don't necessarily want to do, but you have to do. And why do I wait until I'm at the point where I have to do these things instead of just, do them when they're way less scary? That would be nice. And that's the other thing, is like the unknown, the feeling of I built up certain tasks in my mind to be so much worse than what they ended up actually being. And whether it's just a little portion of this room or going through the financial papers I was trying to find, any of it. So I don't know what to do with that other than that's just, I guess, the negativity bias in our minds. A lot of the stuff that I kept coming across were actually things Like, I don't know if you noticed I had a Woobles package in my hand at one point. I had planned to review what I think of them as beginner, beginner plus, and intermediate, because those are the 3 baselines to learn how to crochet according to Woobles. I had some other stuff that I kept putting aside, and in some cases, I actually have the footage. And for some reason or another, whether it was life or feeling like, oh my gosh, maybe this video is kind of dumb, or I started working on it and I'm like, this is kind of boring. Except that sometimes, like, as much as I don't like putting stuff off like that, I do feel like in some ways things happen in their own time for a reason. So no, I haven't done the Woobles kits or gotten my thoughts together on them. If anything, all I've done was given my sister-in-law one for Christmas one year, one of the little kitty cat ones, and it turned out okay. Did it look exactly like the Wooble picture? No, but it was her first time crocheting, and it was still cute and adorable in its own way, honestly. And so I haven't done those, but one thing in particular that I do want to revisit that I still have all of the footage for, and I'd started editing it and I'm like, this is kind of boring, because at the time I really didn't see a way to make it less boring, except that now that it's been, I'll just say over a year, because I don't know exactly how long it's been since I've actually filmed all of it, and I still stand by all of my thoughts on all these ergonomic crochet hooks. So that's something that you could look forward to, because I had the time, and then at one point I was like, oh, but if I edit it this particular way, it won't be boring. Or like, maybe it'll still be boring to someone, but like it will be way less boring and way less draggy. There's just better ways to do it than my initial thought, without having to refilm everything. And the other thing that's really cool about it is it happened in a way and in a timeline that when I first did it, I was using the Furl's original Odyssey as my most expensive ergonomic crochet hook, which was true at the time. And they were running about $36, except that they had gotten discontinued before I filmed. But they hadn't come out with the streamlined metals yet. So like I can now put those in there. And in case you hadn't noticed and you haven't been around the Furl's website lately, this past week they re-released Odysseys. So they came out with Odyssey 2s, only in 2 different colors, which is fine. The price went up a little bit to $38, which, you know, they've been discontinued for almost 2 years. It's not unreasonable for any reason for them to go up by $2, whether it's inflation, tariffs, whatever, for their materials. I don't think a $2 increase over the course of 2 years is unreasonable at all, especially for that caliber of a hook. So I can still stand by my Odysseys. And also, I may or may not have ordered the new Odyssey to see if they stand up to the standard of the old Odyssey. And does that seem wasteful? On the surface, yes. Except that, you know, if you are a watcher and a lover of crochet, that means I'm gonna have extras. And I don't need extras, but you, my friend here, might want to try them for free on me. So that's just something you might be able to look forward to. Anyway, rambling again about things I was coming across during my cleanup and tidy up and just sifting through all of this stuff. Another thing that's been rolling around in my mind for a little bit is how we, or some of us, have a tendency to put others before ourselves. Now, on the surface, you're like, okay, but there are phases in life where, especially as adult women and men, that perhaps you do have to take on a little bit of a caretaking role. And that's not fully what I'm talking about, although that can help bleed into it. And often then we're not taking as good of care of ourselves in our homes, but I can't blame any of this on the times that I've had to step in and caretake for little bits of time here and there. This has long been an issue, or has continued into being an issue in between those spaces for a while. But what I mean more so is I've noticed this a lot in that I always feel like I don't want to say constantly thinking of others, but it's like I want to give to others more than I give to myself, or I put into myself, or I work on myself, or prioritize myself. And I know that sounds strange, but like it will be dumb stuff. Like, say I didn't really want to spend money on something, but then I see something that I'm like, oh, but so and so would really love this. And that person would never know that I saw this thing. And that's something I've started to break a little bit myself. Or I want to give to this cause because it's a really good thing. Now, I will say, Alicia at A Lovely Day Yarn, because I do watch her podcasts and all of her videos. Like, I've watched every single one of them at least once. And because she also provides me the value in that I find joy in her channel, I had no problem giving a little bit of what I could to her GoFundMe to help start funding her treatments and her medical costs that I can't even imagine. I'm sure they are eye-watering. So I did give a little bit to that, but I feel like there's so many of those causes that have come across my way. And in the past few months, I've had to really almost dig deep to put myself first, which sounds ridiculous. But there were a few like GoFundMe donation types of things where I'm like, oh, but, and I'm like, okay, but it's nice to want to give to these things, but if it's coming at the cost of starting to diminish what I can do for myself, and maybe part of it is because I also fell down the rabbit hole of, if you've ever watched Caleb Hammer, and it's totally fine if you haven't, but he's kind of like the Gordon Ramsay young gun of finance. So way different than the Dave Ramsey style. That's about it. Not that there's anything wrong with either one of them. It's just what works for you. But a few episodes, he would tell other people that feel the same way that I do, where I'm like, but I want to give to this thing. I want to give to this cause. And he's like, but you have to take care of yourself first, number one. Number two, once you do take care of yourself, you'll be in a position to give more and be able to give back more and donate more. And it's like, I know Dave Ramsey has that thing too of like, where someday when you get yourself into a position, you can live and give beyond your wildest dreams or something. I don't remember the exact saying, but something along that lines. And I'm like, it is so hard to say no to things and causes. And it doesn't mean I can't give anything. Obviously, I contributed a little bit to Alicia's GoFundMe. I have purchased some Girl Scout cookies. Now, to be fair, I generally don't buy cookies unless A, they're Girl Scout cookies, or B, the neighborhood stand in my neighborhood once in a while I will pop over there. But other than that, I don't buy Chips Ahoy or any of that other garbage, because I always felt that way. Like once I had Girl Scout cookies, I'm like, why would I buy anything else? So there are years I have 0 cookies because if I didn't know anyone selling Girl Scout cookies, I didn't get them. I'm rambling again, and I'm getting way away from the point. The point is, like, how do you fix that, like, what part of me is broken that I want to put other people ahead of myself in a way? Or is it like a tribal instinct? Is it a female thing? Because I feel like I do largely see that more and more with women, that is a thing, that we just want to keep taking care of others instead of ourselves. But obviously that's going to have to change, because it's just going to have to change. Like, my emotions were right here, and a few times you might have seen where I got upset over either some sentimental type of things, or this is so dumb. Like, the thing that sets us over the edge is usually, I mean, not that the sentimental items helped. Those will go in my memory box, but like, this is what set me over the edge initially, because I had been looking for it and I had no fucking clue where it was, and I was just really upset with myself. Like, why would I put it in the most random little tool caddy bin? Why? Literally, why? And then why did I put it away? And then why? Like, all of it, why? And expired cat food that went to waste because I thought, stocking up made sense, except that when you forget that you have the stuff, it doesn't make sense anymore. So this is just part of learning and lessons. One comment or collection of comments that has kind of come up over the course of this series is that your yarn stash is really not that bad. It's not that bad. It's not that bad. And I think it's just because it got so disorganized. Because if I look at the collection of everything over to the right-hand side of the room to you, that I'm not going to argue that that's a lot of yarn. And some of you are like, that's really not a lot of yarn. And it's interesting because, once I've had a few chances to sit down and catch up on my own YouTube viewing and everything, of course, phones are creeps and they know the things that we discuss and talk about. And of course, I came across a few channels where I'm like, okay, I don't have that much yarn. And it's not to me feel better about myself or judge them at all, because nobody should be judged on their yarn stash. If you only want to buy yarn for the project that you are immediately working on and that's all you have and you have no stash, that's fine. If you want to have, well, it appears that I have a small, maybe to mid-size stash. Now, granted, I was shoving some of those in the boxes, so it's a little bit more contained right now and not fully organized and out in the open. That's also fine. I think the overwhelm was more coming from the disarray of my yarn and not being able to see everything that I have and get the inspiration that I like to have when everything is readily visible and accessible. I did get a little bit overwhelmed by others' stashes. Now, a lot of them are full-time crocheters or they do markets and things like that. And that's something where you would have to almost keep a certain amount of stock and inventory of yarn so that you're not risking running out of certain things or commission stuff. But it's really interesting that everybody, I don't want to say everybody, a lot of knitters and crocheters want to shit on each other's stashes, small, medium, or large. And I think that's kind of stupid, honestly. Let people get what they want to get as long as it fits their budget and they still have a roof over their heads and food on their plates and whatever else. It's none of my business. To me, it's just more the fact of I feel like this is about the top end of my threshold of once it is organized and accessible and I can see everything that I have, I think it is going to be the right size of having plenty of options and inspiration without feeling overwhelmed, because again, I am not passing judgment on the absolutely truly massive stashes that I've started to see lately. But some of them I would have so much decision fatigue or indecision and nightmare of just, I wouldn't know what to do with all of it. And it has nothing to do with, well, maybe it is a little bit about managing the stash. Would I want to manage a stash that large? No, obviously some of them are, some of them aren't. And that's fine too. Me doing this for myself has no bearing on what you should or should not do with your yarn. if you are someone who thrives in messy chaos as like a creative person, that is fine. And I love that for you. I do know and have known people that is the way that they are creative. They have massive amounts of craft, sewing, whatever amount of, or whatever type of craft supplies, and they almost need the messiness to see it come together. That's not who I am as a person. Now, I do tend to get cluttery, and I generally know where things are at in other areas of my home, but when it came to my yarn, it was so overcluttered and so disorganized. I had no idea what I had anymore. And to me, that was incredibly uncomfortable. And that is the main reason why I am doing this. So if you're like, lady, good for you that you want it organized, but I'm happy with my pile of yarn or yarn in this cabinet and yarn all over the house, and that's what works for you, do that. Like, I don't know. I just find it fascinating that we as women can sit here and go, oh, sisterhood, and build each other up, and women, 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 but then turn around and shit on each other and put them down and be like, ugh, pass judgment, because y'all are judgy. Well, not all of you, but a lot of you are judgy. And if you don't believe me, start going through some of my comments on my other videos for other things. And there's a lot of judgment in a lot of the comments, and I just don't fully get it. And I know myself, I'm like, I need to stop doing that sometimes. Like, I know I do the commentary videos because I like to see, I don't know, I like to put out, like, see both sides of things and get conversations going and want to bridge some of those gaps. And then the comments sometimes turn into mudslinging, and I'm like, okay, cool, whatever. Nice knowing you. Enjoy your day. So I tend to not respond to those just because I'm like, it's not worth my energy. But I don't know, like, I don't even think that disagreeing is necessarily a bad thing, or sharing ideas. And that's kind of like why I like doing the commentary and bridging the gap. And maybe you think I'm wrong, but it's also like there is a way to say that you think I'm wrong without being crappy about it. But anyway, I don't know that there's really a way to fix any of this, or what's the huge divide in not just knitting and crocheting, but really all of it. But just keep plugging along and doing the best we can. And I guess we hang out with the ones that we want to hang out with. And that's why there's sayings like birds of a feather flock together. Although it would be nice if we could all just get along. I don't know what my next step is other than taking the obvious trash to the trash, putting the stuff in the memory bin that needs to go in the memory bin, and maybe charging my Fitbit. We'll see if it still works. And I was really only wanting it for, like it can connect to my health insurance app and get points and whatever. This is presumably the same paint that the walls are, and I've kept that because I thought that. And there are a few spots around the house that could use a little bit of a touch up. So I'll just find another home for this, probably with all of this stuff. And then I have shelves galore that apparently I couldn't decide what kind of shelves I wanted for anything, or I don't know. At least I have like other shelves if I need it. I don't know if that's Tuesday in the books yet, or if there will be any later every time I don't know. It's been different every day what I feel like I want to do, if I end up doing more or just stopping at the end of the first effort. So we'll see. Oh, also I had a little bit of a thought. Let me know what you think about maybe not having the TV in here at all. I know I won't put it in at least my bedroom. I don't know about the guest room. Maybe I will consider that. I mean, not like I really have that many guests to entertain them for a night or two with or whatever. But do I want this to be like an analog room, kind of like how all the girlies are into analog bags? Like, we haven't invented that ages ago, and they just coined a new term for it. So maybe this is an analog room. I don't know. I still kind of like the idea of having fireplace ambiance, but also I kind of like the idea of like no electronics in here. I can't make that kind of decision right now, and that tells me right now I need to at least stop for a little while and go ahead and take care of the trash. This is where I'm going to leave off day 4, and I'm feeling emotional, but like in a good way this time, that I'm seeing light at the end of the tunnel for this whole project. And as always, I am so grateful that you decided to not only hang out with me today, but hang out with me in some of my worst moments and get through this whole, it's not just room organizing together, this is us healing ourselves together. And isn't that wonderful that in 2026, we have the ability to connect with others and get through life together.